My stomach is full of potatoes and something I found under the sink, and this is the Nerd Citadel. In lieu of recent coronavirus events, there isn't a whole lot to talk about, and Chris is unavailable because I think he died. In memory of him, I'm turning this channel into WatchMojo. And today, I'm going to be talking about my top 5 favorite sci-fi movies. But before we continue, be sure to like and comment, subscribe to the channel, and smash that bell. Don't forget to select all so you can stay notified and informed.
So coming in at number 5,
Independence Day. The movie that made everyone love Will Smith and gave birth to Jeff Goldblum. Now, this movie is visually pretty impressive. A lot of the models used and the effects for, say, the White House blowing up, they can fall apart under scrutiny now, but the movie had a certain visual style to it, plus Welcome to Earth, that really makes it kind of a classic in a lot of people's minds. The aliens themselves were kind of creepy looking. The autopsy scene and what's his face with the thing around his neck. Now, it did have the one drawback in that the acting, pacing, and a lot of the dialogue was kind of stilted, but not in a stylistic way. The movie kind of falls apart under scrutiny as we get further away from that movie and can look at it with a more critical lens. I'm actually pretty sure Randy Quaid didn't know cameras were running when he was on set. He was just there. He walked onto set, and they were like, fuck it, put a camera on him.
number 4.
Total Recall. Arnold at some of his best. This movie was dreamlike as hell, which totally fit into part of the theme of the movie. The visual style was super cool and unique, and it had a style. The whole movie seemed very stylized in this kind of epic sci-fi quirkiness. You had memorable characters like Quaid, Belly Dude, Booby Girl, Business or Pleasure. You had really cool, kind of simple effects that got their job done, like the surface of Mars with the eyes bulging out. Memorable lines, Quaid, activate the reactor, some other lines. But all joking aside, I do love this movie, but no matter how many times I've seen it, and I've seen it plenty of times, and I love it, I don't really remember it. I just remember that I love it. It's like the opposite of candy corn. The thing that you eat every year, knowing it tastes like garbage, but thinking, maybe this time will be different.
Number 3.
God. Starship fucking Troopers. This movie is a perfect satire. I love just about everything in this movie. The story beats are executed near flawlessly. The satire of the whole military-industrial complex, nationalism, is present and prevalent throughout the entire film as we watch, our main characters who are doe-eyed young kids who just want to do the right thing turn into vicious killing machines who don't care for anyone that isn't human. The movie is genuinely funny. It has this weird thing where the acting is kind of not good, but if you watch old propaganda films, the acting is pretty on par with that. So I'm assuming that was intended, that this film itself would pretty much be the propaganda for the viewer, to say, I should join the military and fuck up some bugs.
Number 2.
We all saw this one coming. Jurassic Park is one of the best movies of the 90s visually. As far as visual effects go and cinematography, one of the best films ever made, hands down. The effects hold up today. Now, there are some effects in that movie that were entirely CG that haven't aged immaculately, but they were used sparingly. It's almost like the people making that movie understood the limitations of the technology at the time and still wanted to create a realistic, immersive environment. And they succeeded. The movie pretty much created what a lot of people my age and younger see as, oh, that's what dinosaurs looked like. Even now, science is like, yeah, they didn't look like that. And we smash our fists down and say, fuck you, Spielberg said they're lizards. But lighting and sound, on point. This movie is too damn good.
Honorable mention.
I didn't know where to put this on the list, because it's another one that I don't remember a lot of. Event Horizon. Now, I can't remember if this movie's actually good or if it's only good with nostalgia goggles on. That movie was a fucking nightmare. The unsettling camera angles, the very sparse and dismal lighting, the kind of stilted acting that had a style to it, Dr. Grant being evil. This movie was just hell on film. I got nothing else to say.
Number 1.
Best sci-fi movie of the 90s is Terminator 2: Judgment Day. This is the perfect 90s movie, hands down. It has everything you want. It's action-packed. It's got a solid, well-communicated story. Every character has their own little arc that all contribute to the narrative of the movie. The first time that we actually see Linda Hamilton's Sarah Connor, she has a bed upturned against the wall. She's doing pull-ups. This ain't the same, scared woman from the first Terminator. This woman is all business. John Connor, we first see him hacking into an ATM. Obviously, he's tech-savvy, and he's a bad kid. First time we see Arnold, naked, give me your clothes and your car and your sunglasses and your shotguns. The pacing of the movie is very consistent. It's a pretty fast movie, but it knows when to slow down to let you feel something. And you have a great inversion of characters with Sarah Connor and Arnold's T-800. Arnold's character starts off, pull the trigger, kill what you need to kill as long as John Connor lives. And by the end, he has learned through John Connor to value human life. And he's willing to make the ultimate sacrifice so that humankind can go on without Skynet. We see Sarah Connor start off as someone who is a little neurotic for good reason and wants to protect her son. And by the time we get towards the end, she is willing to execute a man in front of his family in order to change the future. And of course, she, learns not to do that. What is being human, all that shit. This movie has it. We have to talk a little bit about the T-1000. The effects have aged atrociously, but the way he spoke, the way he moved, his very rigid, clunky way of running was really unsettling. And I will always remember that, and I will always emulate that. When I have children of my own, I plan on having them watch this movie, and then later showing them a picture of John Connor and saying, have you seen this boy? And then I'm going to stab them. So that was my top 5. I hope you all enjoyed. And again, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell, and stay tuned for the next Nerd Citadel. Fuck me.